Alright guys, I got the COBALT on the jack stands, as you can see. It's on there. Let me give it a little shake. Make sure everything's sturdy. Got the new jack stands from Harbor Freight. Took back the old gray ones that they were recalled. Got these new ones in. Look pretty nice. We'll see how they handle. Just one of the few things that I'm going to work on today. So I'm going to put this wheel back on, get rid of the spare, put it away. This one was repaired right there. The hole's still there. Hopefully it'll hold up. And then I'm going to go here, take the wheel off, and then take off the fender liner, see if we can do that air filter. And then while I have the wheel off, I'm going to try to check behind the transmission, see if I can find the reverse backup switch and replace that, which I have up on the workbench. Got a couple of my tools ready to go. Picked this one up from Harbor Freight a while back. This is that non-marring impact wrench sockets with my Harbor Freight impact tool. Alright, here it is. I believe it's going to be a 19. Put this down real quick. Yep, perfect, 19. Gonna put on the old impact right now. Alright, gonna take the wheel off. I forgot to put the car in gear, so I'm gonna hold it down with my foot. See if it'll come off. Okay, let's take off the wheel. Let's check it out. Not bad. Not damaged or anything. Looking pretty good. Let's stick the sucker underneath the car. That way a little bit more insurance while I have the car jacked up with these Harbor Freight jack stands. Alright, let's see what's going on in here. So the previous owner had told me to check the sway bar links. Usually that's what all the clunking was about, so he told me. So we have one right here with the bottom part of it and the top. If I shake it, it feels fine. Other thing somebody else told me was to check the sway bar bushings, which are probably, oops, sorry, somewhere in there, back there. I'll take a look and see. Brakes, look okay. Now let's see, for the air filter, we're gonna get rid of a few of these bolts right here, get rid of this fender liner, and we'll see what's inside. Okay, I'm gonna start off by taking out those 8mm bolts inside the fender liner. Take it out, see if we can get to that air filter housing. Alright guys, so I got some of the fender liner off. Took a bunch of the screws out in the bottom too. And here is the factory air box. So I'm assuming I probably could take off these screws and get into the air box, but I want to see everything that's going on in here. Alright, fender liner off. Checking out the inside, see if everything's good. Everything seems okay, no rust, just a lot of dirt and dust. That's okay. Here is the fender liner. Everything came off pretty smooth, all but one bolt. Really dirty. Has some of the original insulation on it. I'll probably end up fixing that, gluing it back on there somehow. And then that one bolt that just stayed on would not come off. Gonna use some WD-40 or something on it just to persuade it. Okay, and as far as our little air box here, I found that it has 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one in the back. Down there somewhere. Where are you, little guy? Somewhere in there. I'm gonna open it up, see if I can get the air filter out. There it is. Ooh. Doesn't look too bad. We'll check and see right now. Okay, so here's the air filter housing cover. So like I told you guys, it was sitting like this inside the car if you're facing forward, and it had, this was a hidden one. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I saw the air filter in there. I don't see any videos on YouTube as far as how to change the air filter on a supercharged Cobalt, but here's what I could find. Here's the air filter with a spider egg. So I'm not too sure when was the last time that if air filter was changed out or not, or if it's the original. When I take it down, we'll see. Okay, so I pulled it straight down from the factory cold air intake, and I'm not sure if it's the original air filter or not. It has a spider egg in it, so this probably leads me to believe this car probably sat for a minute. I'm not too sure. Not sure what brand that is. 3/1/2005. It could be the original air filter from the car. Nice. Alright, now that we got the air filter off the car, which I'm assuming is probably the original one, I'm going to take it to the workbench and compare it to the K&N filter that I bought for it. And then we're going to clean these parts up. We're going to wash the inside of the fender liner, make it look nice and pretty and new, hopefully. And then clean the inside of the airbox cover. Alright, so here is the original air filter compared to the K&N one that I bought. Now, I could have gone with any of the other aftermarket brands, but I decided I didn't want to. I wanted to go with like the factory replacement K&N. I know the aftermarket ones like ZZP, they carry one I think similar to this one, but I don't know ZZP. I'm sure it's a great brand. I'll probably end up buying some parts later on down the road, but for now, I've used K&N, and it's been good to me. Taking this apart has been quite a mission. I want to say that the Haynes book is useless when it comes to this car. It's a good book for like the factory models, I guess, but I mean for the SS, there's not really too much coverage in it. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is the original air filter or not. It kind of looks like it with that date underneath of 2005 right there. The car is an 05 SS. It is a little bit taller than the K&N. I don't think that's going to be a big deal, considering that all I had to do was just pull this one out and it just came out of the tube. So it should be pretty easy to push this one in. The pleats, obviously they're a little bit wider. There's not many pleats as this one, but this one is just, it looked like it literally caught everything 15 years inside of it. So I think this filter has more than run its course, and then it's time for a better air filter. Here's a air filter model, the one that I bought for it. I bought it on Amazon. This is the one that it shows it was a factory replacement for it. Alright guys, I did a really super quick time-lapse video on there. So when I was looking at the air filter, I noticed that the name was Donaldson Company, and just checking the housing on it is also a Donaldson Assembly Company. I guess it's the same manufacturer, so I'm pretty sure this is the original air filter on this car. Wow, I can't believe nobody changed that air filter out in 15 years. So after washing it, the interior looks pretty good, nice and clean. No more dust, no more spider eggs in there, no more dirt or anything like that. I'm gonna glue these back onto the fender liner. I'm just gonna wait for them to dry. I do have an epoxy for them, and here's the fender liner right here. It didn't clean up just as good as I thought it was going to clean up, but it's okay. I mean, if I keep at it, eventually it'll look semi-decent again. All in all, it's pretty good. I'm just waiting for it to dry so I can glue those pieces back on. While I wait for that fender liner to dry up, I'm gonna give it a quick little clean up in here and get this dirt out and cobwebs. See if I can make it look nice. I know nobody's gonna see it, but just for me, I'm gonna clean it up. Alright guys, I'm gonna try to get underneath here to show you guys what I was talking about, how it just slips right on. So I think that's like the mass airflow sensor, correct me if I'm wrong. But the filter should just slip right on right there. It should just grip when you push it in there straight up. Looks pretty clean in here, not too dirty. I might grab a little rag and just wipe it down in there while I'm in there. And here's the housing again, like I was showing you. And here's that factory cold air intake that goes up into the engine bay. I'm not sure how many bolts hold this housing in. It should be like one right there. I'll have to look around and see for another one. Alright, so I was able to get the air filter into the housing, and let me tell you, it was difficult. I cannot get this air filter to go in. I thought K&N would be better, but it wouldn't fit around the lip of the housing. I guess it's too new, so it's, I guess, a little bit tighter, you can say. So what I had to do is get the heat gun to it. I'll show you guys what I did. Alright, I got my heat gun, started blowing around the new one, around the lip, until it softened up, and I was able to slide it in. So, the K&N air filter is in the car. Man, did it give me a hard time though. Okay, so I reassembled the housing cover, put it back on. Should have cleaned these up a little bit better, but it's okay for now. All 4 screws are tightened down, and now it's time to get the rest of the fender liner on. I did clean up some right there. Let's get this fender liner on. Okay, it is the next day. I did end up gluing the fender liner insulation back on it. Let's try to see if we can button everything back up on the car. Alright, so I got the fender liner back into the car. I know in the beginning of the video I had said something like these were like 8mm screws here, down there, and then right there, and then a few underneath the car by the factory cold air intake, but they're actually 7mm, not 8mm. As I was taking things apart, I noticed that I'm missing a lot of the push tab retainer clips, but I did order them, and the ones I do have are mismatch, or missing like I said, but they should be in here in a few days. Alright guys, let's get this factory wheel back on the car. But before I do, I want to check the tread on it, see if it's still good or not. Alright, here's my little Husky tool. If it's still in the green, that means it's okay. 5.5. It's a little low, but I mean it's still in the green. So I can still get a few miles out of these tires. Okay, now that we got the front tire all buttoned up in the front, let's see if we can get rid of the spare tire and put the tire back on, the one that was patched up a few weeks ago. Okay. Okay, now that we have the car on the ground, let's check and see if we did everything okay. Let's turn on the car. Let's see if we don't get any check-in engine lights or anything like that. Let's see here. Here's the key. Wait for the fuel pump to prime. Okay, everything sounds good. Let's see. Alright, so the car's been sitting idling for a few minutes now, maybe 10-15 minutes now. And one question I have for you guys, anybody that knows, does anybody else have that problem where their speedometer shows the car sitting at 10 miles an hour with the RPM sitting at 1500? If anybody else has that problem, comment down below if you guys were able to fix it, or do you guys know what's going on with that? Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully this helps somebody else out there that needed help changing their factory air filter on this COBALT SS supercharged. Now in the beginning of the video I did talk about how I wanted to change out the reverse light switch, and I had a couple issues finding the location of it, but I did end up finding it. It's going to be straight down right here at the bottom somewhere, so that's going to be on the next video. Alright guys, peace.